Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalam ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. Today, I'd like to present a very important interview with our brother Anwar Muhammad. He's from East Turkestan, which is currently the region where the Uyghur genocide is taking place in front of the entire world. So I wanted to have him on to talk to us about what's happening and what we can do to help. I first met Anwar back around 2012, 2013. We were both studying the Arabic language together at the Islamic University of Medina, and we became friends. He's a beautiful, sweet brother. And I remember when we first met, it's typical that students at an international university like Medina, we get to know what it's like in each other's countries. And since I first met him, I remember hearing about how his people were being oppressed by the Chinese government. Now, since then, we have seen it get exponentially worse to the point of genocide. I remember back in 2017, when we were both still students in Medina, he reached out to me to see if he could get asylum in the United States because the oppression was getting worse and worse. He told me specifically about how Muslim students studying abroad like himself were being rounded up and put in prison, and he was fearing for his safety as well as his family's. So during that time, we were trying to see if we could help him, if he could come to the US or if he could go to a country in Europe. Eventually, we ended up losing contact, and I was worried because I didn't know what happened to him. But alhamdulillah, recently he messaged me on social media and he told me that he found asylum in the Netherlands. And he told me that he was currently working to try and bring attention to this genocide of the Uyghur people that's happening. So I wanted to have him on to shed some light on the situation, and we had been scheduling interviews for quite some time, but this morning I woke up to this BBC article titled, "Their goal is to destroy everyone. Uyghur camp detainees allege systematic rape." So I messaged Anwar, I said, Akhi, please, let's do something as soon as possible. Let's try to shed some light on what's going on and see what we can do to help. So this is a very spur-of-the-moment interview. I really appreciate Anwar taking the time to come on the platform and share this information with us. Inshallah, in the future, he will come on and speak more about what's happening. But without further ado, here is the interview with our brother Anwar Muhammad.
Thank you, brothers and sisters, and thank you, Sajid, for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. And my name is Anwar Muhammad. I am from East Turkestan. I was born in Kashgar in East Turkestan. East Turkestan is a land that occupied by China in 1949. Before that, we have a two short time independent country. But after the Chinese Communist Party invaded our country, we are being suppressed since 70 years. And what's happening right now is the result of the failure assimilation of Chinese policy towards us. China tried to assimilate us for 70 years. They tried every way to convince us that we are Chinese as they are, but we keep our identity and keep our history and culture. We are totally different from Chinese people in culture, in history, in language, in religion, and our demography, our geography is totally different from the Chinese people. We speak Uyghur language, which is one part of Turkish language, and we live in East Turkestan. It's a part of Middle Asia, not East Asia, and we have our honorable culture and history that we proud of, and we believe in Islam for more than 1,000 years, since Qutayba ibn Muslim al-Bahli came to our land, and the second time the Khalifat al-Abbasi sent an army, and beginning from that time, more and more people became Muslim, and in 930, our king, Sultan Abdul Karim Khan, became Muslim, then entire country became a Muslim soon after that. So we have a lot of conflict with China, but until 1949, we don't have any big problems that, we were struggling to become independent, and we were struggling to become, our homeland, but it was defeated 2 times by Chinese Communist Party, cooperating with the Soviet Union at that time. And Yeah, it's a long history. Come back for this nowadays. In 2010, I came to Saudi Arabia in Medina, in the Islamic University of Medina, and I studied with Sajid for 2 years in the Arabic Institute. Then after that, I went to the Dawa College, Kulliyat al-Dawa, and I studied there for 4 years. And after graduation, I was accepted for the master degree in Aqidah, Qism al-Aqidah. But unfortunately, in 2017, in April, my mother called me and she told me that the Chinese police came to visit our house and they want me to go back to my hometown in 3 days immediately. Otherwise, they said my mother will be in trouble. And the last words that my mother told me is, never call me again. So I couldn't call her because I know the danger. I spoke to my teachers in university. I told them that the China is threatening me by my parents, by my relatives, but even my teachers, the sheikh, they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that China is going to kidnap our parents and force us to leave, force us to go back there. But until in 2017, in July, until Chinese government sent policemen to Egypt, to Qahira, to arrest more than 500 Uyghur students from Jamiat al-Azhar, then the situation totally changed. I couldn't feel safe in Saudi Arabia, and I also asked from my teachers, and I asked them, is it going to happen even in Saudi Arabia? And my teacher told me, we don't know. If it happens, we cannot do anything for you. That's why I have to leave from Saudi Arabia and ask asylum from Netherlands. Now I'm living in the Netherlands since 2017 August. A lot of people have a problem to distinguish between Chinese Muslim people and with Uyghur Muslim people. Chinese Muslim people spread it all over China, but Uyghur Muslim people located only in the Uyghur region, which we call East Turkestan. And Chinese Muslim people, they speak the same language with them, they eat the same thing, and they share the same culture with the Chinese people, but we are different. And that's why China is against Uyghur Muslim people, but not the Chinese Muslim people. And come back to our story. Now I am I'm living in Amsterdam, and I'm working in a Dutch Uyghur Human Rights Foundation. And now I'm a Uyghur human rights activist. I'm writing reports about the Uyghur case, Uyghur situation, and some witnesses, first-hand accounts. And I'm working with a lot of major media like BBC, CNN, Guardian, New York Times, and other media in all over the world in different language, in Arabic language, in Chinese language, in English language. Alhamdulillah, I can speak several languages that helped me a lot. And what we can expect from our beloved brother and sisters all over the world is, from the Middle East countries, we cannot ask them too much because we know the very good relationship between their country with the China, and even our beloved sisters and brothers in Middle East countries, they love us, they want to protect us, and they praise us a lot, but the government do nothing, but they support China. Instead, they support China. They said China is treating Uyghur Muslims very well. They signed up that kind of contract a lot. So the governments already betrayed the Muslim wills against their population. But what we can expect from Muslim brothers in Western countries, especially second generation, is a lot. They are very active, they are very open-minded, and they're always enthusiastic to protect Muslim human rights all over the world. and they are doing very well in United States, and but in Europe it's very less. I don't know what is the reason. Maybe there's another problem. I don't know. But still, even in Netherlands or in France, in Belgium, the most supported group in this country is still the Muslim community in these countries. Not the native speakers or native people here, but the Muslim generation.
You know, it's so difficult because it seems like the Chinese government have such a strong hold. Perhaps it's due to the situation of the economy, but China just seems to have this stronghold of power where they're keeping people quiet. And, you know, I guess that just adds to this feeling of like, well, you know, what are we supposed to do? I mean, do you find that to be the case? Is it that China just has so much economic power over these different corporations, and that just trickles down for them to not let anybody say anything about what they're doing?
China does have very strong economic power, but it's kind it's not that strong to shut every person's mouth. The main problem is the countries, the governments, they don't want to speak. They want to keep silent. Until now, only America, only United States recognize it as genocide. Until now, only one country, and it is, but the Biden administration is still hesitating about that. And other countries like United Kingdom or Belgium or France or other countries, they didn't even admit it as a genocide. They are doing business, actually. The European Union, they are doing business, and they want more investigation from China. So the ongoing genocide left behind, and people still think about earning money, get more money from China. It's not about the people. It's not about the Muslim community or ordinary people. It's about the country. The countries, they don't want to help us or say China to stop the genocide.
So do you think that we should just, as individual people in these countries, try to speak up more, try to bring more awareness so that perhaps it'll eventually just click and people will try to do something?
Yes, that's one of the benefit of the Western democracy, is that you can call your MPs, your representatives in your state or in your city, to call them and want them to speak about Uyghur genocide, and speak to the media, or start a demonstration protest about the Uyghur people. That would be help, because they concern the people's will about the Uyghur Muslim people, and then they will like to speak. Otherwise, they just do their business.
Akhi, Jazakallah khair for what you're doing and for coming on here. My last question is just out of my own personal concern. I mean, are you worried about your own safety, given how China seems to want to keep this whole genocide that's occurring undercover and keep everyone silent about it? Like what's your situation like there in that regard?
Living in Amsterdam, I don't feel unsafe. I don't feel unsafe in this country, but I feel unsafe for my parents, for my relatives that left in China. They can do everything they want, anytime they want, and that's my only concern. But after I saw this horrible news from the BBC today, I don't want to keep silent. I am speaking for years, but this time I want to speak more publicly.
So I appreciate you coming on and you know, doing this impromptu interview, spur of the moment. And please, Akhi, anytime you have an opportunity, you have some free time, please come on and let's keep spreading the message. Let's keep up to date about what's going on. Me knowing you personally in Medina, and then you also being from this region, you're somebody that I trust and that I respect and that has close ties to what's actually going on. So in that regard, you're a priceless resource to actually come on here and speak and spread the message about what's going on and inform us and encourage us to do what we can. So I appreciate that, Akhi. I want to give you any last words, any last remarks before we wrap this up.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I hope that we can still keep doing it in the future, in the next weeks.
Thank you so much, Akhi. Jazakallah khair. And we'll keep you in our dua, and may Allah make everything easy and guide us to what's best and help us overcome this this situation. Jazakallah khair, Akhi. Until next time, we hope to have you back soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.